me go in and make this change. $9.29. All right, we got the disclaimer up there. I don't know why I always 9.29. I don't know why I always get that thing mixed up, man. Anyway, let's get it on and popping. Let's get it on and popping.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to start going live with my. Not going live on the internet, but start going live with my trading and cut back on the videos. The trading is going to take priority over the videos. All right, homeboy, what you got good going on today, man?
What do we have good going on today? We have an outside day, makes things a little bit easier, outside to the upside as far as your daily chart is concerned. We got all the high impact news came out around 8:30. They kind of shaped up the economy. And most of your reports today, the CPI, consumer price, retail sales, all of those came in a little bit hotter than expected. So that being said, the reaction to those kind of pieces of news in this environment tend to say upside movement because they're figuring, hey, the better the economy gets, maybe, just maybe, we're in for an interest rate cut. Who knows? So yeah, when you got CPI coming down, that means your prices toward consumers, so to speak, are supposedly coming down, and the rate hikes have worked, and there are possibilities now that the Fed may not lean on the economy so hard with interest rates. That being said, a steak still costs $30 in the store, so you look at it for any way you want to.
Justin, what are you talking about, man? That ain't your advice. That's my advice. What are you talking about? You always got to take credit for something, man. Get out of here.
And that's the news. We do have a few low impact pieces coming in today, though, at 10 o'clock. So, don't say, because anything can move the markets. Crude inventories, mortgage deliveries, mortgage delinquencies.
I was looking at that.
Yeah.
So mortgage delinquencies coming out every day? Because didn't I talk about that yesterday?
I'm not sure exactly what it's supposed to be all about. I know one of the reports a lot of times is month over month, and then mortgage delinquencies a lot of times will show up during week to week figures as well. I think a lot of people are looking at a shorter term chart when it comes to mortgage delinquencies. Haha, hint, hint.
All right, let's get it on and popping. Let's get it on and popping. Let's see who's gonna come in the room today. Let's see who's gonna come in the room. There's something about that when I try to connect. Then when I go make the connection, I hit a button to go live and it ends broadcast, and then I got to restart that crap all over again. I got to get that shit together.
Let's see what we got. See what we got this morning. As far as just the charts alone, yeah, we're kind of pushing to the upside at this point. See what we're going to develop as the day wears on. For you tunnel traders, I'll be honest with you, I'm looking to buy the bottom tunnels. Buy the bottom tunnels on this.
Your band's kind of tight there, man.
A little bit tight, yeah. They kind of represent some nowhere, go nowhere situation. My longer term charts are really kind of hollering at me on the upside. So hopefully, if I'm going to do that, if I were to buy each end or sell each end, I would most likely be leaning toward buying the bottom bands. Of course, that would coincide with the last place we got delta divergence. Around what area is that? Somewhere around the 89, 90 area.
Don't forget to mention the Cume, man. Don't forget to mention the Cume. 5,800 plus. I'm only looking for long trades today. Only looking for long trades today. Even though some counter trades will be considered. Some, not all, some.
Still kind of pushing up, pushing up.
Oh, wow. The Trusty Dusty is, show you guys the Trusty Dusty. Trusty Dusty, Dow Jones up 205, NASDAQ is up 108. That just gives me, that just helps me, gives me more confidence in taking my trades. More confidence in taking my trades. Got the E-mini up 31 and a quarter. Dow futures up 217. NASDAQ futures up 103, 102. Man, gold is 2,300 plus an ounce now. Wow. I remember when it was 800 and 900. The good old days, man. The good old days, man.
Yeah, that's when they were still using a hammer and a chisel.
Yep.
All right, running up on this top band. You would expect something of that nature. Would love to see a pullback to go long. That's basically what you'd be looking for at this point. All you breakout guys, I'm sure, wanting to see what's going to happen above the 03 levels, 53.03 that is. Careful of breakouts. Please have more reason than just it's a breakout. Right now, right on the open, we had a little problem child on the 12R where we had the minus 600, ended up making a positive bar. Hadn't looked back since then. Got very good delta to the upside. All of a sudden now we get up toward the bands again and we get less delta, like a little deceleration move. Right around the 935, started running out of buyers. And of course, just a little pattern to look at, we run up on the bands and have this little turnaround here. But it's kind of what happened before that, footprint wise, that kind of let you know that we were decelerating going in. We had already talked about, I think Top Step was talking about the fact that the bands was going sideways. Again, another reason that, that could very well represent some sort of fascist, some sort of resistance up here. So, a lot of reasons that if guys like shorts, again, that would have been at least a location along with some sort of a clue that maybe there would be follow through. Just from a footprint basis. Deceleration, and then we get the famous magic sniper, of course. We got price action divergence right after that.
Hey man, don't be naming your stuff after my stuff, man. I'm gonna sue you.
Hey man, that's exactly, as soon as I come up with a name, your stuff will be totally forgotten.
I'm gonna sue you for that, man. Watch it, man. Watch it, man. Let me name your
Cease and desist. I understand. By the time it turns famous, it won't even be named that. Right now, I should just call it the temporary divergence, huh?
That's what you call it. That's what you call it. Much better.
There you go. There you go.
I have coined the phrase snipe.
Yeah.
Especially from.
But and I have to give you some credit for that, because really I didn't pay a lot of attention to it until, you used it in a totally different way. And I'm saying, I wonder what that looks like when it comes to, coming up against bands, which is a resistance or support point. And I noticed a lot of times it tends to show a little bit more of a reaction. Not saying it changes trends.
Yeah.
But it seems to be able to give you some sort of reaction off the bands. Those of you who got enough of a pullback after these 3 down, you will be playing in the middle. Just keep that in reminder. You will be playing in the middle. Don't see a lot to lean on.
Don't forget to draw your range lines and your trend lines. You can see I drew a range line on this chart right here. Draw your range lines or trend lines. We're not quite in a trend yet. We're actually in a range right now. So, and we're at the top of a range on top of that. So be very careful in taking a trade right about now. I'm just going to sit back and watch for a minute. Nothing important. The rest of the stuff that comes out 10 o'clock is low impact, supposedly. So
hit.
Yeah, supposedly. So we're at the top of a range right now. I kind of like to see my stuff trending up or, trending down. Right now, I see a range. You can try to draw some trend channels, but yeah, you get a trend out of it. You get a small trend to the upside. It's immediate. That's the
Trend or range bound, because if you go back to the 8:30 time frame when all of the crap started anyway, you got a nice little box from here from 03s down to like the 80s, 88, 87.
Yeah.
You really got more of a range chart as opposed to
a trending, right?
A trending chart, yeah.
Exacto mundo.
If you just take in context that time frame itself from 8:30 to 9:30, that's where you're sitting.
Yep.
A lot of momentum in front of it to the upside.
Draw your lines. If you don't like what you see, don't make a move. Sit on your hands. If you don't like what you see, don't make a move. Just because you're getting a signal doesn't mean you jump into the market. That's not what this is about. We're actually showing approaches here, showing you how we look at the footprint chart. And if you don't like what you see on your chart, you don't have to make a move. Another bus will be along. Just looking at the Valtos charts, notice he's giving some signals at the top of these ranges, but it's like I said, we're not trending right now. So
You got here.
when you get a signal you know, if you're running Valto's charts, or if you're running TDU for that matter, and you get a signal, if it's not in context of what you're doing, if you're not getting a long signal and the market is trending up, or a short signal if the market is trending down. Other than that, if you don't trade ranges, if you're not selling the top of the range or buying the bottom of the range, you get signals there too. Then just sit on your hand and wait. Your time will come. It's all about discipline. It's all about
Like
discipline.
shorts. Anybody like shorts may be able to pull a little scalp from this area. Would have liked to gotten a little higher, but did get a slight push here. May get a slight follow through here. Scalp bases only, folks. Scalp bases only. You would be considered, in my mind, you'd be counter trading, but you would be selling the tops.
And don't forget this stream is delayed by at least 20 to 30 seconds. The stream is delayed by 20 to 30 seconds. So try not to pull any trades based on what you see on our charts. It has already happened. It's over.
Yes.
It has already happened. It's over. So be very careful.
That area would have been 99 for me. So
this is only for entertainment
yeah, I'd still be
purposes
sweating.
only. And until we go into Discord, and I'm actually thinking about switching over to Discord at some point. Be very careful on what you see on these charts, because this is 30-second delay. Definitely be very careful.
Pushing right back.
My battery is low.
I'm actually waiting for the FedEx man to come pick this machine up, man.
You finished your work.
Yeah. This machine is all set up and done.
Is it going to push it all the way back down to the other end? If you like longs, that would be the area of interest for you. And bands are starting to come to you a little bit.
All right, Chester. I'm going to book you for Saturday, man. You better show up to class, man. You better show up to class, man. I'm going to write you up, man. I charge a fee for no shows, man. Yeah, past couple of days we've been getting caught in ranges, and it's all about just being disciplined, because trust me, there's a saying this guy used to use at a brokerage firm I worked at. His saying was 7 hours and 58 minutes of pure boredom and 2 minutes of sheer hell. And that's exactly what the markets are. When you start moving on exactly what you want to see. A lot of the times you're going to be sitting still. You're going to be waiting for that ultimate signal, the unicorn signal, as Magic calls it. So if you do not see what you want, don't make a move. Don't move. There are plenty more trades coming along. You're not going to miss out on nothing. It's all about discipline. It's all about discipline. But yes, we are definitely in a sideways market right now. We are definitely in a sideways market right now.
Where you want to pay attention a little more to your POC patterns. When you get toward the bottoms, you want to start paying attention to your bids. How much interest in that area? You've got a couple of bars here right now where you've got a 19 on the bid side versus a 45 on the bid side. So that's, it's starting to give you some ideas that maybe the area of 94 and 94 and a half may not be as interesting to sellers. So it's trying to give you small hints a little bit at a time. So you also, of course, remember, layer this on top of something you already are using. For instance, I like to use location with a lot of my bids. So if I were to see that same pattern below the bottom bands because I have an upward bias, that would be a lot more attractive. So still, one thing doesn't stand alone, but still, you're looking at footprint. When you're looking at, just for instance, the 12R may tell you a few more things than a chart that's a little further, like the 15s and the 20s. So you've got to decipher even more as well. That's kind of what it means. 15s and the 20s, they're lazy. They wait for the golden signal and they don't think about it anymore. They don't have to decipher anything because when it happens that on that size bar, hey, they get a follow through even half of that bar. They're going to make money on the trade either way. So yeah, they're a little lazy when they come to the 15Rs, Morgan K's and the Chester Beans, and that's okay. It's okay. You ridicule the 12R. 12R means you got a bigger degree. That's all. You got a master's degree in 12Rs. All right, reaching down to these bottom tunnels here, let's see what gets happening, because this would be an area of interest if you have an overall bias to the upside. So you want to look and see what kind of action you're going to get down here. Right now, it looks like we're finishing off the bottom of the square, of the rectangle. Let's see what kind of action we get. Yes, Mr. Bean, baby bars, baby bars. Fly Guy, welcome, welcome. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, Fly Guy, that news is supposed to be low impact, but anytime it says low impact, I don't trust it anymore. It's too much going on out here, political wise, and all this other shit that's going on, or stuff, not shit, but stuff that's going on otherwise. That just got to be careful with the news nowadays.
When you see your dome going a little bit crazy, sit on your hands. When you see zeros,
Morgan K
see
said,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Morgan K said when you hear your fans revving up, something is going on. That's an indicator.
Yeah. You're seeing zeros in your footprint bars. Sit on your hands.
Yep.
Yeah.
When your fans start revving up, something is going on. That's an indicator.
All right, guys. Let's see what we're going to end up with up in this area. Trying to show a little minimal support here.
Cume Delta almost caught my attention. We were up to 8,200 at one time. Now we're back down to 4,800.
Right under 5 Gs. Yep.
But the buyers are still in control as far as I'm concerned. Well, not the buyers, but the longs. The people who have belief in the system.
Yeah, still a few of me around. I still believe in the long side if I'm looking on a longer term.
Well, I'm only taking long trades right now because we're at 4,600 on the Cume. So We're at 4,600 on the Kuhn. Current price is 88.5. Hitting the bottom band on the Valtos. We're below the moving average on the Kuhn. So a counter trade would be considered. Would be considered.
All right. At least we've found temporary support. Let's see if this is worth anything down here.
For those of you who want the any one of these templates, you just go to the description section and download. There are some other freebies in that download. If the download is no longer working, let me know so I can reset that stuff. Because I think SendSpace, that stuff only lasts for I don't know what the time frame is on that, but it doesn't last long. Maybe a week or two or something like that. Maybe a tad bit longer. So yeah, go and look in the description and hit the downloads as far as the range bars. I'm running a 15R. Magic is running a 12R. I have Valtos running on a 15R. So yeah, I'm basically a 15R man. Magic is a 12R man.
Seller's starting to step to the side a little bit down here.
Magic, I think Fly Guy is asking you a question.
Wow. Wow. I hope you read the disclaimer before I even answer that question. Woo! Ha ha! Oh my goodness. I'm just going to say to you, if you're looking at a daily chart, have a smaller time frame chart under that and refer to the weekly chart. Work in those time frames if you're looking for a longer term investment. And if you want to go longer than that, where you're looking for years of holding something, use something more along the lines of monthly, weekly, and daily would be your small time frame chart that always would lie to you.
Hey man, you're
If
making
you understand.
Chester look like a king. You're talking Chester bars now.
Yeah. Hey, and I realized that I was really going to throw that at him. You know, one of our guys is very good at long investments. I don't understand his patience because he has no patience with people. But when it comes to the market, he'll hold something forever. So maybe I might hook you guys up, Mr. Bean. Hopefully, let me know if that's okay. If you want to deal with Fly Guys, some of that question with him. So, but still, you're looking in areas when you're holding for a longer period of time. You want to get triggers and signals from something right now that we're not even dealing in that realm. Your lowest time frame would be a daily chart, and you're waiting for those signals that you're looking for. So those bands would be the ones that are interesting to you, which means that, you're really going to do a lot of waiting around and a lot of patience. And, don't be ashamed of going out even further than that. If you're really looking at wanting to hold for your baby's education, look at a yearly, a monthly, and a yearly, a bi-yearly, and a monthly. And then put the weekly in your back pocket as maybe a trigger for a small time frame. So I would just kind of guide you into that area. But if you really want some inside things about longer term investments, I don't know how he does it, to be quite honest, but Mr. Bean is very good at kind of buying and holding. That's why we tease them as much as we do. Hopefully that helped a little bit. And understand, Mr. Bean has no affiliation with my time frame and band. He's an Ichimoku guy, and half the stuff he talks is normally a different language like Portuguese. And when I'm talking, it sounds probably like I'm talking Scottish in another dialect to him. So, you got to realize when you talk with different people with different ideas, it kind of forms everything you're going to end up forming in the first place and in the end of this. You'll probably take some of mine, some of his, and some of Top Steps, and then some of the stuff that you may even read here in the room. And by the time you're done, you're gonna have something that looks like Fly Guy. And that's what this is all about. Different approaches. How do you go and look at something? How do you look at this as a person that wants to scout versus a person that wants to be, a swing trader, as I tend to be more than anything. Like this bottom band held, I just want to pat myself on the back for recognizing it. But any way you would have wanted to enter that trade, this, again, is not a system. If you believe that the bottom band was going to be something that would have pushed you an extra bar or two, that's the way you would have approached it, one way or another. Or you could have waited for whatever it is you use for an entry signal or entry exit or entry method. The approach just says, hey, this might be an area you're looking at. You had upper time frames to the upside. We talked about that in the beginning. We talked about the fact that the downward bands would probably be something that might be of interest, even though it looks like you're catching a knife there. You still have to wait for the exhaustion to set in some ways or another. That's why I use FootPrint. And you still have to want to see some sort of participation so you can go long. But, yeah, all being said, here we go again. Now, how far it's going to go, that's always the golden question. If I knew that, I'd get out right at the top every time.
Yeah, we're in the sell zone though, so I wouldn't consider going long. Ain't no meat on the bone.
Of course, you and Mr. Bean hate me to mention 6Rs, but I'm running across the top band of somewhere, and it happens to be my short time frame. This encroachment, I'm looking at, do I want to sell up here? I still had this overall upward bias, though.
I do too. But I'm afraid to do it, and I must admit I am afraid to do it inside of this fair value gap 5-minute sell zone. I do not want to buy in this area.
Let me ask you this: what if a sniper went off here to the downside? Would that convince you to go to short side now?
No, because it's not below the moving average. The cum is not below the moving average.
Oh, I just wanted to find something that would entice you, man.
See if it's going to blow through this, or is it going to have a hard time getting above it. Let's see what's going to happen here. Yeah, look at it.
Hello.
Struggling in this area.
Remember that 4 up yesterday, man? Tell you, a nice scalp would be right around the time if I get a up bar close. A lot of momentum to the upside.
You got a lot of volume, good volume here also. Look at the volume on this, but I like to see it going in one direction here. And you know what? I'm almost leaning toward the downside now, even though the cum is 7,700. Those are the kind of temptations you gotta kind of pay attention to within yourself. Definitely pay attention to that kind of stuff. But I'm going to hold my ground right now till I'm convinced otherwise.
You know, sometimes you got to wait for the market to talk to you before you can react as well.
Wait for the market to talk to you. Break out your notebooks, guys. Wait for the market to tell you. Don't tell the market what to do. The market will tell you what to do. Very well put.
You know, I would expect one more 12-hour bar to be made if we get to 96, which we have. I would kind of expect at least one more bar to be made after that.
So we are looking at Trade Devil's footprint and Mike Valto's footprint. You know, there's a guy who asked me on Discord, Mikey B, or Mikey BB, I think. He asked me what I thought about Futures Analytica, and Futures Analytica, their footprint is basically 4 Futures Analytica signals. You can use it, but you're not going to get the same effect as if I'm not even going to say the same effect. You're not going to get the signals like Trade Devil and Mike Valtos give signals on his footprint. Trade Devils give signals on their footprint. Futures Analytica, that's an AI program that he's developing. A lot of people say they aren't making money with it. I say you probably can make money with it. You just gotta get used to using it and find out what he's looking at and what he's considering doing a trade. Because when you're considering a trade, there are hundreds of thoughts that go through your mind before you're putting on a trade. You're looking at a whole lot of stuff. And Connor is looking at a whole lot of stuff. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. If you're thinking about going down that road, and you know, going down that road, that's a whole different. That's another whole rabbit hole. But either way, you're gonna put the work in. Whether you're looking at Trade Devil, whether you're looking at Mike Valto's footprint, it don't make no difference whose footprint you're using. This ain't gonna be no cakewalk. There's nothing easy about this. Like James Earl Jones say, the harder you work, the luckier you get. That saying is so real. The harder you work, the luckier you get. There is no red light, green light when it comes to trading, period. By the way, that sell signal or that sell fair value gap is gone now.
Yeah, just knocked it out. Wop, wop.
Knocked it right on out with a 2-piece.
Still pushing.
And still pushing. And it's almost like, you know, that was at 10 o'clock. That signal came at 10 o'clock, right at report time. So was that a low impact report or was it a medium? I would almost say those were medium reports.
Again, we always argue this. A lot of times things you tend to see before I do is because you're looking at another time frame or another value of a chart. And I contend we're in the same condition that we were in from the beginning, sideways. Still in the range, still in the middle. Like I said, I have more of an upward bias, so for me it would have been buying the bottom bands. But it wouldn't surprise me if we run right back up here in the 53.0s, 2, 3s, whatever, and start finding problems and turn right back down again.
Yep.
You know, we are on an outside day, so, you know, that's helpful. But, you know, from the action of just the charts coming off the time frame of daily, when you're looking at something a lot closer, you haven't gone anywhere. What's your number? 10,000? Where are we now?
9,200 on the kiln. You talking about on the kiln?
On the Cume, yeah.
Yeah, 9,200 on the Cume.
So you're starting to get a little more one-sided when it comes to that.
Yeah,
For certain.
I'm definitely considering only long trades at this point. Only long trades at this point. That was that delta down there when it went from minus 714 to plus 1249. That was a major flip down there. Major flip down there. Then you had the delta trap come right after that, but that fair value gap clouded my judgment. So we're all here in the process of learning. Just take your time and wait till you see your trade based on what you're looking for. Because I am pretty sure some people got some signals down here at this pivot turn down here. Let's see, we got 49 on the 12, then you got it versus a 92, but then the Cume went from 43.56 to 57.42.
Well, pay attention to the bid. The bid was coming down at you at 129, 191, 119, and all of a sudden when you got to the turn bar, they lost interest on the bid.
Right.
The sellers lost interest. It's not that the buyers were stepping in, but you could see the sellers losing interest. Some sort of exhaustion. You retest it again, you're still not getting back up to those 190s and 119 numbers. You know, so that's kind of a hint there. As far as losing interest in the same spot, what you're looking at is one of your favorite patterns almost. Every time you say this, you're right, and you don't even realize that I don't say a word to you. But when you start seeing the Twin Towers at the bottom like that, first thing you say, we look like we're bottoming.
Yep.
On one of the reasons I tend to use range bars a lot is because of that kind of a pattern in certain areas. It kind of tells you things, and if you look at it over and over, you tend to want to accept the risk that's there a lot quicker than maybe you would if if it's really just looking like random action to you. But still,
when you look at the delta, also you on that first pivot down there, you got 525, and then the next one was a ghost bar.
It was a ghost bar, yes.
Ghost bar is meaning the delta didn't pop up because the volume wasn't higher than the last bar. You can see 4688 versus 14,000. So that's why that delta didn't pop up under that bar right there. And that delta was 828. So it went from plus 525 to plus, and then versus plus 828.
So we talked about losing sellers on the way down on the flip. And now we're talking about gaining buyers.
Right.
Which is, you don't know it at that point, but you're also looking at that from a fundamental perspective of you're gaining buyers in this bar. Because you have the 571 versus the 828. That's always a problem for me, because if your eyes don't scan that little fact, you're going to realize that it was a bigger factor than you thought.
Right. And notice on the 12, it's a double bottom on the 12, but notice on the 15, we just got a V-turn. We got a flip. The delta went from minus 714 to plus 1249. And I got to put that alert back up there. I definitely have to put that, because that's a major flip to me. To me, that's a major flip. Then came a delta trap. But like I said, that sell value gap clouded my judgment. But it's
okay.
You still had the option.
Guess what?
Whether you wanted to take that trade or not.
Well, we're going back in a big circle here real quick, because that's why I wanted to be on the 12, because I want to see that wrinkle. You love V bottoms.
Yep.
I can't stand V bottoms. It's not enough information for me. A 12 gives me this little
we
wrinkle
went from minus
that gives me what I
714.
consider more of a clue.
What about the minus 714 to plus 1249 on the 15? See, you see, this is the kind of stuff, guys, that you're going to run into, and you have to decide which one you like or which one you want to trade. That's all it
Yes.
is. Which one you like or which one you want to trade. But they both are giving you clues. Hey, you might want to look at this. You might want to get in. Whereas I got a delta trap. I got a delta trap signal on my chart, and the 12R did not give a delta trap. So yeah, the clues are there on both time frames. It just depends on which one you like looking at. Like Magic said, he likes looking at the wrinkles a little bit more. I iron my
That's a
clothes.
perfect example.
I use starch, man. I use starch on my clothes, man.
Yeah, untuck it. That's what I say. Body, untuck it.
But yeah, that's the kind of stuff, and I was dealing with that because you're going to see different numbers on a 15 compared to a 12. The deltas are going to be different. The cum is going to be different, but it's still going to be strong. But I like looking at the numbers on a 15. They're a little bit more stronger than how I got. If you go back and look at some of those videos, earlier videos, for some reason I switched down to a 12, and I was basically getting my ass kicked. I was like, what is going on? Why am I taking losses? I didn't adjust my numbers. I didn't adjust my delta numbers. I didn't adjust my cum numbers, and not the numbers, but just the differences. There are little nuances you're going to see on a 15 that you don't see on a 12. So that's how that goes. Decide which time frame you want to use. I think one of our listeners, Michael Black, I think he said he uses a 10R. So it depends on what time frame you want to use. I'm a 15 guy. I'm a 15R. I think the 15R is a sweet spot for me. Magic, he likes the 12R. The 12R is a sweet spot for him. So, everybody will decide. Everybody can decide, which time frame do you want to use? And I think me and Magic went through that. It took us a minute to decide which we started at an 8. We went to a 10. Then we went
don't forget the days of the 3-minute chart and the 30-minute chart. And
see, I'm not going back. I'm not going back to the 90s, man. I'm talking the current stuff, man. No, Magic is talking about when we first started out, we were looking at 30-minute, 45-minute, 1 hour, 2 hour charts. We did not have access to range charts. We did not have access to tick charts. See, that's the thing about this generation right here. Man, it's so much information you guys got access to now. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. We started out, what was that, 89, 90? We were looking at 30-minute charts.
You had to call your broker to find out what time it printed at 94 even.
Right. So,
and he would take 5 minutes to get back to you for a decision you were trying to make in 30 seconds.
Right. Yeah. So this is these are the kind of things you start going through when you're setting up your order flow charts or whatever chart you decide to run with. Don't have to be order flow. You're going to have to decide one thing. Now, I am going to say this. Renko charts have what you call ghost bars. And what I mean by ghost bars on the Renko charts, a lot of those trades do not take place in those bars. Maybe at the pivots, but not at the bars. And if you set up a Renko chart, you're going to see a lot of zeros on your FootPrint chart because there are no trades taking place when that price starts to run up. You see zeros on your FootPrint if you have FootPrint running on a Renko, because those are ghost bars. There are no trades actually taking place inside those bars. So I refuse to look at a Renko with FootPrint. I mean, you might find something with it, you might not. But anyway, I got a Delta trap flashing here, so let me concentrate on this trade right here. But yeah, this pay attention to what time frame you're comfortable with. Definitely pay attention to what time frame you're comfortable with. Take the helm, Magic.
Yes, sir. No, a lot of things as he was speaking really kind of passed through my brain as he was speaking, especially when it came to what people have access to them now that wasn't available to us before. And a lot of times I kind of think it's a disadvantage that you have so much to you available so quickly, because everybody's in this do it now world, and literally to learn to be a trader that you imagine yourself to be takes a lot longer than you would expect. And I'll tell anybody that walks into my door and says he's going to trade, first I tell him it's an insult that he thinks he's going to be doing this in 3 months and be successful at it. Won't say it can't be done, but I got a feeling there'll be a lot more rocky roads. But at the same time, it takes time, because the longest period of time it takes to learn the trade is learning who you are and what you'll do in certain situations. And there's so many curves that's being thrown at you at the time. So I think it was somewhat of an advantage to learn it the slow way, because you tended to learn one piece at a time as opposed to try to learn it all, because the Holy Grail is what you put together. So if you try to throw it all together because this black box says do this, or I read a magazine that said do that, or a video that says, well, he does this, well, eventually you're going to learn that all of that you got there together is going to come together as your own. Not what one person tells you necessarily. That may be your basis for your beliefs, but you're going to find some way to turn it into your own. So, it really made me think about just that fact. We're turning up right now on a lot of delta volume. Getting some very big numbers. The delta seems to want to stay up at this point in time. Again, don't forget, we are running into some resistance up here in the 02, 03 area. So hopefully it doesn't peter itself out by throwing all the delta in now. But if you like the longs, they're certainly telling you from a footprint basis that the buyers are here. We're buying the ask, not waiting for a bid. So if we are still in just a basic situation of where we've been all day, let's see if we can bang up against one of these tunnels again and see what kind of action we have at the top side. That's if you really believe in the fact that we're in a range at this point and this will be the top of the range. This is how you're going to play that range. Whatever clues you use to recognize your resistance, your support, whatever clues you use to enter. Just giving you one more layer that maybe location might be important to you as well. And if you're getting some confluence up there, then that might be your spot. Footprint for me has always seemed to give me a lot of the answers when I'm in these areas. After I think we got 1900 in delta on this last closed bar to the upside, I certainly would not expect to see a downturn here. That would be kind of disappointing for the longs. That would be total absorption. The cumulative delta is built back above where Top Step loves it to be, above 10,000. So he would only be looking for a long trade. So push back up would be something you would expect to happen, at least after 1900. That's huge delta. On the 12R, not sure what that 15 looks like.
Oh, this signal didn't go off yet. I might have to take this long trade, man.
Excuse me. I think I just told folks you would only be taking a long trade with this 11,000 cum, and you walk right in on time. Well, I guess we know what you would do.
And we got buyers here. We got 100 at 99 and a half. Got another 100 at 5,300. And we got another 100 at 5,300 even and a half. So basically the close of this bar. Close of this bar. Let's see what happens here. I am one tick above the marker. You always want to make sure that bar closes. Do not run ahead of your bar markers. That price will turn around on you and go back in the opposite direction, which you see what it's doing now.
Oh, come on, man. Let's see you run in front of it so we can see if it turns down or not.
No, you're king of that. Magic has learned the hard way. He used to run ahead of his bars all the time. Do not run ahead. That's a little tidbit for you guys. Don't run ahead of your bars. Don't run ahead of your bar markers if you're trading range. And that goes for whether you're looking at 1 minute or, 30-second, whatever you might be using. Don't run ahead of your bars. Wait for that bar to close. And you can see right now that buyers are having problems here.
Ain't they?
And I like to see my bars close before I get in. And that comes with experience. For you guys that don't believe us, go ahead and run ahead of the bars. Let us know your results. Sometimes it looks good. A lot of times you're going to be crying the blues. And you're going to realize if I hadn't ran ahead of those bars.
It's like a slot machine. It'll pay off a couple of times and make you feel like that's what you're supposed to do. It just waits for you to come back and say, okay, here we go.
Here we go. Uh-huh.
All right.
So if this bar does not close up, I am not interested at all, which it's starting to look like it's going to be a load shot here to the downside. Buyers look like buyers can't pull it off. Guess I'll look like I'm going to be canceling this bar, I think. And just because it gets down this low doesn't mean it's going to close down. This is a perfect example of running ahead of your bars, which you'll go through.
I was just talking about the resistance you were about to run into if you get filled. That would be my only worry. So hopefully you get a lot of buying pressure when you get in. We all need to help you, push you through that ceiling at 03.
Buyers are struggling here. Is that a heads up? So we close up. This joint might run, man. They're going to make some new session highs here, I think.
Do you see how the argument begins, folks? I'm playing a range-bound day until proven differently, and my partner is playing a trending move that should happen based on a lot of things being considered if you got an upward bias.
Okay.
Every day we argue tends to be a day that pretty much does this. Are you set up for a
I call it a
sniper?
load shot when the bar is down and the delta is green above 1,000, or when the bar is green and the delta is
6.
red below 1,000. Yep, we're going to be canceling this order, I think. But we got buyers. We got a lot of buyers here, though. Look at that. Look at that delta. 17, 16, 1700. Oh, they coming back. They coming back. They trying to make a comeback here. We got the profile chart. We got buyers here. We got big green ball. We got buyers here. Nice Cume Delta candle there. Nice big green Cume Delta candle there. One of the upsides to running ahead of your close of the bars, if you get a chance to buy it down in this area, you will be risking less, seeing as though you go right below the last bar as a stop. You will be risking less. That's Magic's kind of trade there. I like to see the close of my
Got that
bar.
right.
I like to see
Love
the close of my
love
bar.
a better price. You already know your stop's gonna be at 95. And why not go ahead and snatch it up at 97?
We got a fair value gap here, 5-minute fair value gap here from 95.75 down to 92.5. On the profile, we got momentum. Look at the momentum. Plus 2,000, plus 2,900. On the 5 bar, on the 3 bar, we got plus 3,300. And on the 1 bar, we got plus 3,100. The momentum is definitely to the upside, but let's see. This is going to be interesting. Let's see what happens here, ladies and gents. I'm sweating bullets here.
You didn't get filled, did you?
No,
Oh,
because I almost don't. As
man.
long as it's taken, I almost don't want to see a trade now.
Nah, man. Wait for it to get down there in your little fair value gap, man.
You know, that's not a bad idea.
Just,
But
chill.
if it closes down, yes, I will wait for it to get down there in my fair value gap with another clue to the upside. I'm just not going
There
to
you
take
go.
it when it gets down in there. It's got to be some type of clue to the upside. Here come the buyers again.
With a roar.
Yeah, I think the buyers are going to win this tug of war. I think the buyers are going to win this tug of war. We shall see. No, we will see. Mike, what you looking like on your signals, man? What are you seeing here, Mike B? Don't take too long to answer, man. You got 2 seconds. Yep. All right, man. You got You got Magic. You got plus 2,000 on your bars already closed. My bar's
Yep.
getting ready to close. Let's see what happens here. And I got plus 4,000. I can't ignore this trade. I just can't because of the delta is just too big. It's too big to ignore it. Let's see what happens here. I got a target at 4 even, 53.04 even, and my second target is at 53.09. I got
I'm
a
just
stop
going to
at
reiterate, folks.
52.98.
He'll look like king to me because I am very nervous in this area. If you break through me, I can get you to '08 if you need that kind of help. You got to break through on your own.
Call the boys in, man. Call the boys in.
The numbers make sense. Footprint wise, you got a ton of buyers.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Oh, you didn't hit my target. You didn't feel me. You hit it, but you didn't feel me. Get that stop back. Get that stop out of the way. Now, and I did not make that adjustment like I said I was going to do yesterday. A lot of
MIT.
times, if you set your ATM and it goes up and touches that target and your stop moves, but you don't get filled, that means you need to set your ATM stop one tick above your target. Not your stop, but your target price for that stop to move one tick above your target. They hit my price, man, and didn't fill me. That's what I don't like about the E-mini. The Forex, they'll touch you, fill you all day long. E-mini, it's got to trade through it. So it's got to go to 53.04 and a quarter in order for me to get filled on that.
Don't you feel like a stepchild now?
No, I feel like taking 2-3 ticks and getting the hell out of this market. We got a buyer here at 100 at 53.03. So the buyers are definitely here. Let's see what happens here. That's a pretty big delta, 4,007.
Well, hopefully you start chasing this thing here. Because right now you're just banging the tunnels at the top. Why don't you just use the MIT? You're greedy. You want it all.
No, it was something about the MIT. Has something to do with this indicator that I'm using, and it was something about the MIT that it wasn't registering right. This indicator that tells you your target and money and all that stuff. It was something about
Correct.
this MIT that didn't register or didn't work right with this particular indicator. So I just decided to go back to limit orders. There we go. There we go. There we go. I'm in FU mode now. If you guys don't know what FU mode is, sorry, I can't repeat that on the internet.
I can get you to 07.5 if that's where you're trying to get. That's about as far as I can take you right now.
I think it's going to run up a little higher than that.
Okay.
I got a trailer at 4 3/4 now. Got in.
That's all, folks.
Okay, so that trade was $229 trade, and I don't have an ATM set up yet as to milking the run, so to speak. Like Magic says, you set your ATM up according to your personality. I don't like to give anything back, as you see. So that trade is over, said and done. 229.14. What's that after commissions, sir? Yeah, that is after commissions. 229.14 after commissions. Magic was given, what was that target you saying best you can do is 07? It looks like it's coming to fruition. So yeah, my stop tightens up quite a bit on that on that ATM strategy. Matter of fact, let me make my adjustment now so you guys know what I'm talking about when you're shooting for a profit target. Yeah, your profit trigger, instead of 8, the same as your profit target, you have to go one tick above that in order for it. So once that order gets filled now, that's when it'll go off instead of shooting up there prematurely just because it touches the price. If you don't understand what I'm saying, when you start pulling trades, you'll get it. You'll get it. You'll come back and watch this video. You'll totally get what I'm talking about.
The exchange is not obligated to fill your price until it trades through it.
Right. That's on futures. On Forex, you will get filled on the touch. If it even thinks about going up there, they fill you. That's what I love about Forex. If it even thinks about going up there, they're going to fill you. That's how it can just breeze past that price and they will fill you. That's how liquid the Forex market is. But you can't run a footprint on the Forex. Sorry to say, because you have different. I think it has something to do with the different quotes coming in from different prices, from different quote people and so forth like that. So I wish we could give them another 10, 15 years, something to be out. I used to, Mike. I used to try. I was hard on Forex. My man Chester Bean, he trades Forex a whole lot. That's all he does is trade Forex. But I don't trade Forex. I've stopped ever since I started putting my concentration into the E-mini. I just got fixated on the E-mini. First, me and Magic started on the NASDAQ. And NASDAQ was zipping just a tad bit too fast for us. So
no, it started zipping. It was doing just fine when we started.
You're right. Before Trump got in office, you're right. It was moving like the E-mini's moving now. But after about 6 or 7 years ago, it started zipping up and down the chart like a roller coaster. So at that point, we decided to go to the E-mini. Yep, got in at 2, got out at 4 in the first target, 4 3/4 on the runner. Not bad, not bad, not bad.
Yeah, I think we're going to get to that 7. Seems like it's taking a while, but it makes sense. Just a hint. Where do I get that from? Higher time frame. Another band.
So at with the Cume being at 15,000 plus, I'm only considering long trades at this particular time. That's what keeps me on track as to whether I only want to take long trades or short trades. Now, if you got something where you want to trade both sides of the market, have at it. But right now, I am only considering long trades at this point. A lot of people don't like looking at the Cume, but I personally like looking at the Cume. So this is how
it's something to what you're saying, in that I think everybody has a belief system someplace.
Right.
And the deal is, if you see that one trade that comes in that fits your criteria once or twice a day, and you can make X amount of ticks, excuse me, I'm so sorry, Top Step, X amount of points, okay? That's really the idea of trading. It's not really, I don't know, everybody has different personalities. Some guys can sit there and literally, I have seen at least 7 or 8 trades go by where I might make 6 or 7 ticks at a crack today. It's not my personality. You know, you do what fits your personality is the most important thing, or else you're going to quit. You literally will quit because you're doing something that, somebody taught you, and all of a sudden the M pattern turned into a W on you, and now you don't know what to do about it because it's not yours.
Let that video go, man.
No, man, it pisses me off when somebody has a one trick out and then tells you that you're trading. Trading comes over time and learning other people's stuff, other people's approaches, why they do something. The one thing we never had for over 10 years, maybe even more than that, nobody at the time when we started was giving up any so-called secrets. Nobody. Another thing that you have available to you that if you get enough of these secrets, I'm not saying don't trade those patterns like that. I'm just saying learn everything about that pattern. Okay, I'm not knocking any pattern at all, because I may very look at you one day and say, oh man, we got a W pattern here at the band. It might make a difference to me, who knows? But the whole point is, what do you believe in? And if you stick to what you believe in, your trading either is going to turn into shit where, excuse the language, but it's going to turn into something where you need to make corrections, and good corrections, or it's going to show you over a period of time that what you're doing is correct. But the fact that you stick to that means that you can make a correction off of it. I think we were talking about Mr. Bean talking Portuguese and all different languages. Every time you do something, you're kind of making up your own language. The whole thing is, does it work? Whether you do it once in a day or 10 times in a day, do you come out in the green the majority of the time? I'm off my soapbox, man. You got me riled up on that one.
I don't know if you guys know, we were trolling the internet one day and we ran into some guys that were trading the M pattern and the W pattern. Oh my goodness. That hit magic. That hit one of his spots right there, because that's what he does. A lot of the stuff you see on the internet, like he said, are one trick ponies. One trick ponies. Not saying that it won't work, but you're going to need something else with that. Trust me. We have seen. I have. Now we're talking about this. Let me make a recommendation. There is a book out called "The Technical Analysis of the Futures Market" by, is that John Murphy?
Murphy, yep.
By John Murphy. If you guys don't have that book, get it. Technical analysis. I didn't say he has two big books out, and this book looks like a Webster's dictionary for you guys who from the old school who knows what a Webster's dictionary look like. This book looks like a Webster's dictionary, and it's called The Technical Analysis of the Futures Market. Get the book. Don't get the PDF. Go get the book, because it's some. I don't have nothing against reading PDFs, but there's something about books in your hand.
You're 100 years old.
Yeah, you have a better way of learning something with books in your hand instead of reading a PDF or listening to an audio tape. That way you can, have your highlighter and, highlight certain things. And, when you start getting into those technical analysis books, even though you're not going to use a lot of that stuff, it's in your library. It's up in your head. You can say, oh, you know what? I think this will go good with the Bollinger Bands, or I think this will go good with the Keltner channel. I'm a bit of a Keltner channel fan. I don't know if you guys know it or not. Or you can say, I think this is going to go good with a CCI. You got stochastics. You follow what I'm saying? You got EMA. You got the 3-period EMA, 4, 9, and 18, which you can change those numbers to anything you want. There are numerous indicators, and you look in your. Just basically look inside your Ninja Trader indicator list. There are hundreds of indicators. If they're not programmed in Ninja Trader, you can probably get a hold of them. You got the MACD, stochastics. You got the RSI. That stuff all that stuff, even though you're not going to use it, it's good to know. And this is how me and Magic came up. We had to learn. If we started out with what was that charting program that everybody used back in the 90s?
Metastock.
Metastock. End of day data. We started out with Metastock, end of day data.
Wait a minute, hold tight. Understand, if you were getting end of day data coming to your house, you were running the Cadillac, okay? Because at first I was going to the library to draw a line on a piece of graph paper to start. So this is the Cadillac now that we have Metastock.
Right. This is the Rolls Royce. This right here is the Rolls Royce. But learn what those different indicators do, because that might be something that you want to. And there are guys all over the internet. You got no nonsense Forex, and you got a couple of other guys that breaks those indicators down, and they are telling you what they do, whether they work or not, whether they lag too much or there's no lag at all. Just a tidbit. Just a tidbit. That's John Murphy, Technical Analysis of the Futures Market.
A lot of times when you understand how something is made, you tend to understand when something else might be redundant or enhancing. You probably, if you're an RSI guy, you're probably not a stochastics guy, most likely, because they measure the same thing. So when you understand how things are measured, now I'm not saying you won't, but I'm just saying they're pretty much overbought, oversold strength meters. So why would you want three things to measure overbought, oversold strength? Because when one tells you it's overbought, oversold, you're probably going to have at least one or all of them tell you the same thing, if you have them all measured from the same numbers. So, you really want to round your analysis of what you're looking at from a perspective of, something that enhances one, enhances another, versus layering on this, layering on that. And again, that's where your time is taken. And eventually you look up and there's certain things that you just like and you have confidence in. And all of a sudden, there goes your holy grail. Can't tell you when that's going to happen. The more you dig into it, in my mind, luck is the result of a prepared mind. So you still have to continually work at this in order to trip up on what really works, because it took me a very long time before I actually understood and was actually able to relay this information and be able to trade in the background in order to do this, because I've gotten very comfortable with this, because I've gotten comfortable with trading before this happened. But a lot of what we're talking about is what we are thinking as the market is going on, which is the biggest part that a lot of new traders especially might miss. What are you thinking about? That's the hardest part to figure out, because that's the art part in the art and the science when it comes to trading. Serena's not better than everybody else on the court because she's just bigger, stronger, faster. Well, maybe, but she knows something. It's her experiences that also make her number one, so to speak. And that comes with any sport, with any business, what have you. So it's what you're going to put in this and what you take out of it is what's going to make you good. There's an art. The sciences is what we're talking about when we talk about indicators, numbers. But the art is how you tend to put those numbers together and take advantage of it. I'm hoping everybody gets to do this. Sad part about it is only 15% really go to work enough to really make it successful. And success, my friends, is literally, if you choose to, $50 a day. That's a nice little part-time job. Used to be. Now, I don't know. But that's a nice little part-time job. If you can find yourself making $50 a day, $12,000 a year during all trading days, if you haven't figured that part out. So if you work from just that number, you may find yourself wanting to take this grind because it will not go straight up. Just like breakouts fail, your numbers aren't going to go straight up. They're going to back and fill. There are going to be some very sad days. I'm done, man. I'm done. You got me. You got me going about something that's not. And I'm watching this market. By the way, we're losing we're losing a little bit of
buyer's interest.
Yes, thank you. Getting choked or need coffee. Yeah, a little bit of exhaustion there. Let's see if we can start at least giving a reaction back. I would only think that this would be a pullback to go longer if I was having to assess anything that comes back at this point.
Yeah, if we can pull back to that bottom channel, that'd be nice. And,
Yeah, it's real hard.
And get a signal to the upside, of course. If you're looking for it to pull back to a particular place, immediately take your eyes to your footprint. You go to your footprint at that point and you start doing your comparisons. You start doing your comparisons at that pullback. What am I seeing here? Is the delta bigger than the last pivot? You know, what's the cum compared to the last cum? This is what I'm looking at. You're looking at your min, you're looking at your max. Well, you'll be looking at your max if you're going up. You're looking at your min if you're going down. Is that right? Did I say that right?
Men, if you're going men down, yes.
Yeah, men going down, max going up. So
Right.
you know, you go back immediately, whatever you're using, whether you're using the stochastics or whatever. If you're hitting a particular area that is of interest to you, immediately take your eyes to the footprint. What is the footprint telling you? Because your footprint is going to give you clues where to get in. Where you get out, that's your business. Where you snatch that money, that's on you.
Did he throw a disclaimer on that real quick or what?
Yeah, but you know, and looking at this trade I took, notice we were hitting a fair value gap. The delta numbers were there. I could not let that 4,007 on that delta go. I could hear all of the traders now. Are you crazy? Are you nuts? This is a trade. This
The
is
unicorn.
a trade. And yeah, Mike, 90% of the people doing prop firm evaluations fail. I'm not a fan of prop firms. You hit a spot with me on that because this isn't about trading prop firms right here. This is about trading your own money. My ultimate goal is to trade my own money, not to trade somebody else's money. I told you guys many times, I manage money in Chicago, and that shit ain't no fun. It's a headache. It's a real headache. Because you know why? You take the blame when you have a bad day. Nobody else was responsible but you. Nobody is responsible but you. But yeah, I could not ignore this. I'm going back to, I got off key a little bit, but I could not ignore this trade with 4,007 on the delta, and the bar before that was 1243. Each one higher volume than the last. Higher volume than the last. It went from minus 642 to 1243. Now, on that same note, you go to a 12, right? When you go to the 12R, even though Magic didn't take it, don't ride him hard, guys. Don't ride him hard about this. You got,
I got 460 to 2024.
He has rising delta on that turn. He has rising delta. It's on the max. And the delta is 1933. And then when it comes back in that same area again, you got 2023. Okay? The cum goes from 11,100, and then when that bar closes, it goes to 13,400. So you're getting all kinds of cum, and his MACD is the differential line is above the zero line.
Yes, cross.
So definitely you're going to get clues on your chart. The question is, practice, can you pick them out? And if you can't pick it out, go back in your history and practice picking your trades out. The harder you work, the luckier you get. There's a guy online, now that y'all got me quoting and whatnot. There's a guy online that I listen to a lot of times before I get on the phone with Magic. This guy's name is Earl Nightingale. If you have never heard of Earl Nightingale, he talks about a lot of positivity and thinking positive and so forth like that. These are some old clips. Earl Nightingale. Look him up. Look him up. He is the real deal. It's only 11 o'clock. Jeez. Now, if you guys got any questions, do not hesitate in asking. There's no question that's too stupid. Mike, do you know how many yeah, that's a sad reality, man. It scares me sometimes. Out of 1,000 traders, which you got only 200 become successful. That's a scary number. You got a better chance of becoming a rapper. Anyway, yeah, man, that's a scary number, man. And me and Magic, we come up in the era. A real good friend of mine. I don't know where he is now. This guy was a charter market technician, and I started learning from him. The guy's name was Herb Hall, and I started learning from him. So, going back to that's just like 20. Yeah, you're right. 98% failure rate. Yeah, not 200, 20. Yeah, I thought it said 200, but 98% failure rate. Yeah, a lot of people do not want to practice. They want red light, green light. There is no such thing as red light, green light. No such thing as red light, green light. If you see, and Magic will tell you, we go back to, I met Magic in 89, 90. Right around 90, right around 1990. And we've been through so many setups, it's ridiculous. That's how come we know so much about indicators. We're not master. I'm not saying we're master of all the indicators. But like I said, learn the indicators, and then that way you know what you want to use. Because I guarantee you, something goes well with this footprint.
And I guarantee you, whatever it is you think you've come up with in a couple of months, you will get rid of more by the time you finish with it than you'll ever add.
Yeah.
Because you'll realize that you may put 50 things on your chart to measure this, that, and the other. A lot of them being redundant, a lot of them you're not looking at, a lot of them don't tell you a doggone thing. And then you start getting rid of things and you realize what your eyes really tend to go to. It's amazing though. A lot of things get redone and it makes it easier to see. For instance, these big green and red numbers on a chart has helped me tremendously, because a lot of times I always want to see big volume, big delta. As you notice, Top Step tends to act on those numbers a lot quicker than I do. I like to see them around a certain location, which is why I don't react as quickly in that area. But at the same time, I've got less on my chart than I've ever put on a chart. I think I counted it up one day, and I've got maybe 6 things on my chart. And 3 of them are not on the chart itself, but above it or below it. So the whole thing is about taking that journey and finding out what works, not how much you got to look impressive. Because I only add real estate as far as monitors when you need it. Problem is you constantly feel like you need to look at more, lead to look at more. But in essence, 4 monitors of things that you like would probably be sufficient. Most likely. I'm not going to say people that are obsessed like me, but yeah, I could use 8 monitors and probably run out of space. But the question is, where would my eyes scan the whole time? The whole time. I've got 2 screens in front of me that I want to see at all times in front of me. Everything else is more subliminal or a quick scan and go. But there are 2 charts in front of me, one that which shows me one, the way I want to see it, and then my footprint chart, because I want my footprint chart to confirm what I think I'm seeing. So there are a lot of ways to not only set up what you want to put there, but how do you look at it as well? What kind of priority do you put on it? Notice one of us puts priority on very huge numbers. One of us may put a priority on location. Both of us put priority on structure. So a lot of traders have a lot of things in common, but where you prioritize what you have. Bill, question. Finishing on the mint.
No, it didn't say it's taking a lunch break here, man.
Hey man, still chasing these tunnels. Keep closing above it,
It's taking a lunch break here. And when the market, when you take a trade and the market slows up like this, if you're still in with your runner, and I don't have the guts to do it, and Magic pays attention to it a lot. If you trail by the last bar, a lot of times you will milk the hell out of a trade. And if I had trailed by the last bar, I would still be in this trade. I would still, because my stop would be 1 tick below the last bar, would be at 3 1/4. I would still be in this trade. I ain't got the guts to do that yet.
The last up bar.
Last up bar, right. If you're going down, it would be the last down bar.
If you were to set that up in your ATM, it would be the low of the last 2 bars. Hopefully you never get 2 bars in a row.
Right.
To the downside.
Right.
Because you'd be stopped out after 2 bars in a row, or the low of the last up bar.
But that's a whole new different rabbit hole. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole with the ATM, dealing with the ATMs right now. Only thing we want to get you guys used to looking at is the entries. If you get used to seeing the entries, the money management will come. It will come. Whatever you like to see, however amount of money you're up and you want to lock in, all that stuff will come naturally. It's the entries that we're interested in more so than anything. That bar finally closed. That bar finally closed up.
Another reason I hate them 15-hour bars. Take forever to have a close. Oh my gosh. Slow market like this, you might have 1 bar while you go to the bathroom, make lunch, go back there and wash your clothes and come back. It might be another bar form.
And I have literally done that. That's why he said wash clothes. I have literally gone, put clothes in the washing machine and dry and come back, and my bar still hasn't been completed yet.
I need more information than that. Even if it is 3 ticks less, I got to have more information than that.
Yep.
And kind of getting on the fact that I like range bars over time, volumetric. I like range bars because they are, I'm going to call them predictable. You know where they're going to close. You know where, they have even measurements. Even your Fibonacci got a 50% level, but they are much more predictable to me, and then they tend to show you when your structure's off a little bit. I see structure a lot better when I use a range chart versus when, especially if I'm using time. You know, my focus is so different, and I think that's what hurt me in the beginning. You know, really trying to put time into, you know, how I would view charts. Call me dyslexic, call me slow learning, but time didn't do it for me. But when I saw the predictability of, you know, even if it was a six range chart, the range chart itself gave me an air of predictability of what I would expect. And now, as I've gone on through the journey with this, I've also found that it helps me set stops a lot easier because my risk tends to be a little bit more controlled. So that's, huh?
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I'm just saying that's a preference for anybody. I think, you know, how you look at things, you know, when you sit on a psychiatrist's chair and he gives you 3 or 4 different, you know, patterns, what do you see? It's kind of what time and volume and all of that is.
Man, look at this trade go. Look at this trade.
We are now getting on the full side of these bands. That represents a lot of strength. And just that's not a time that I would ever want to be fading this. That represents a lot of strength.
165 block seller at 13 and a half. Now we got some sellers coming in. I guess this is profit taking. I guess.
Well, you just doubled the delta. I'm wondering if this isn't a load shot. You don't want to see any down bar after this. They might get tired. It's almost like they shot everything up here. These are some big numbers going up. This last 3 bars, 900,
Yep.
900, 1800. Can you find any more buyers?
Right. Right.
Delta, not delta, but volume went down. So a slight decrease on that up bar. So that selling came from one person. I mean, that buying you talked about came from one person if the volume went down.
Mm-hmm.
Would I be looking at that incorrectly?
It just says block trade. Buy in 126 at 13 even. Then you got a seller at 165 at 13 and a half.
Okay. You're going up. You're doubling your buyers, but your volume went down. That would say to me that there's less people doing the buying right now. You got a big block trader or several big block traders up here. But the volume decreases.
And you know what, guys? It's something else. When I first started out, I used to say to myself, if I can do a certain number of trades a day, it's not about quantity. It's not about quantity. It's about quality. Because for some reason, I had said in my head, if I can do a certain number of trades a day, I'll make money. Nah, you want quality. You don't want quantity. You want quality. Concentrate on your signals and making money on that particular trade. You won't be interested in pulling as many trades as you think you want to pull. Did I say that right?
Came out right.
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting negative delta up here now. Minus 737. Not interested in taking no counter trades. I'm only interested in long trades at this point. Getting close to 11:30. We're going to call it the day at 11:30. Getting close to 11:30. It's 11:12 right now, Eastern time. It's getting pretty quiet around here. Yeah, and what I did was, if you guys look up here in the left-hand corner, I started each account, demo account, with 15,000, and and yeah, this is the account I've been running ever since I started this. We started going live. I did go negative for a minute. I was getting kind of worried there. And that's another question you have to ask yourself. When you start to take losing trades, at what point do you say, hold up, something's not right? That's the question you have to ask yourself. At what point do you say, wait a minute, something's not right? You don't just keep taking losing trades. You stop, reevaluate, and then you come again. And I think my halt signal is maybe like 3 to 4 trades in a row, losing trades in a row. When you start taking 3, 4, 5 losing trades in a row, and this is just my opinion, look at what you're doing. Did you change something? Did you make a change in something compared to what you were doing at first? You start asking yourself those kinds of questions.
That's only if your research has said that that's not supposed to happen.
Right.
You may have done some research and had pretty good results, but you see patches every so often. You might have 3 or 4 shots in a row that you lose. You say, okay, can I take that? I like this system. Then 3 or 4 would not alarm you for something you may have done research on that you say, wow, this never loses more than twice in a row. And then you lose 4 times in a row. Wait a minute, what's wrong? So, all of this depends on what your research shows you. You can't say I lost 3 or 4 times in a row and just ditch something. It may not be as bad as you think. It may have more to do with your money management than it does, what you're using. So you got a few roads you got to go down in order to answer that question a lot of times. But the biggest part depends on how much research have you done on any given signal or any given approach or any given whatever it is you're running. In his case, as cheap as Top Step is, he's not running something that he wants to lose 3 or 4 times in a row on. That just is not his personality.
Look at the ATM, right? Just look at the ATM.
Yeah, I mean, you can really tell where his priorities go. His priorities go with positive trade, positive trade, positive trade. I'm not giving it back once I get there. So he wants to see immediate momentum and don't come back and talk to me anymore about it. Keep going. And that's the way his ATM goes. So, yeah, you gotta, it still comes down to who you are, how you do it, what kind of research you do.
Man, my sniper hasn't gone off today, man. I'm a little disappointed, man. I'm a little disappointed. We are definitely on the top band of trending up. We are riding the rails, as Magic would say, on the top trending channel.
Total strength. Total strength.
Yeah.
Anything that pulls out of here, I would expect it to go back to the upside.
We are riding the rails of the top channel.
This is where I like to be when I'm already in the trade. It's very hard for me to enter this because of my thoughts about what bands do, but I'll certainly ride the rail. I just don't want to get in when it is riding the rail. Kind of tough. And that's something that I've forgotten what it was you used a lot. Every time you tended to get in a trade, I would look at my bands. You wouldn't have bands on your chart, and you would be riding the rail. And I said, he done got lucky. You don't even know it. Yeah, this is the kind of condition I want to get in, kind of before the fact. Yeah, I can see a couple of stems on this run, so I can see where Top Step would have got a little nervous about it. How close you like to trail? Like a tick? You trailing by a tick, man?
What are you talking to me?
Yeah.
No, man, you ain't talking to me, man. No, and you know what? That's going. When we decide to go down that rabbit hole, I will be introducing. I was using Blackbird a lot, and I had some real nice strategy set up in Blackbird, and Blackbird just opens a whole new universe of things you could do with your ATM strategy that this NinjaTrader ATM cannot do. So when I introduce that, then you'll get a good idea of what you want to use and how you want to use it and so forth like that. Because Blackbird, you can attach it to any indicator. You can attach it to just, and you think of it, if it could be done in Blackbird as far as the ATM strategy, if you think of it, it could probably be done in Blackbird is what I want to say. I would like to see a snipe somewhere around in here, but it look like we're not going to get no snipes right no time soon. I can tell you that just by looking at the chart. We're at the top of the channel. That means this we would definitely have to see a pullback. Then we have to see a red. Now let me tell you guys something. This is a perfect example of. Let me show you guys something. You see this right? This kind of snipe right here. A potential.
Must be a 12-hour.
This is a potential snipe. If this bar closes up and the cum stays red, you see how many up bars you have before that? I would not consider that at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're on the 8th bar. And I'm only giving you a what if. If this bar closes up, and the cum is red, I would not consider that a trade because look how many up bars you already have. And this is a 15R. I don't consider, I would not consider that at all.
Yeah, you got the same ugly on the 12.
On the 12? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
To me, that's starting to show some exhaustion. You're losing something up here now.
Yeah. Yeah, so when you get, I like to see my snipe trades. Let's go back to the snipe for a minute. I like to see my snipe trades 2 down and 1 up, or maybe 2 up.
Well, now who's counting bars?
Following some down bars or some up bars. Don't pay no attention to Magic, ladies and gentlemen. He's having issues. He's having issues today. But anyway, that I like to see it following some up bars or some down bars. When you got numerous up bars like this, don't consider taking that trade. Let that bus go by. That's a full bus. That's a good term. That bus is full. We used to hop on the coming from school. We used to hop on the 92 Garfield coming across the bridge, right? And we would literally be standing on each other's toes on that bus. You don't want a full bus. Another bus would be along. Another option will be along. So don't consider getting on a full bus. And I consider this a full bus. This whole area right here. Let me play with my toy. Let me mark this area just so you guys know what I'm talking about. This whole area right here, that bus is full. You don't want that. If this bar closes up and that cum delta closes down, you don't want that. That's not a sniper trade. The bus is too full. Wait for a new bus.
You can kind of see that also on the 12R. Just looking at the min and the max, how they kind of exchanged hands, where your minimum started getting exorbitant up here, even though the first bar still turned up. But look at how much of your max delta you really got compared to the bar before or the bar before that. You're into almost 1,000 in every bar going up, and then all of a sudden your max delta, even if it's an up bar,
it's not as much. I see it. Not as much as the last bar.
It's nowhere close to it. You're almost at 10 times less. And at the same time, your sellers came out of the woodwork and triple what's been going on there. And now the very next bar is trying to give you the full picture of this. This is one of those situations where you have to watch it. You got to realize that this is a strong, strong move, and there are going to be times that people put their foot in the water to see if we can turn it down here, and then maybe put another 50 lot here. Maybe we can turn it down. I would not be surprised if people were still trying to maybe set a position to the downside on a run like this, because this is exceptionally strong. Everything that sellers are throwing at it, you're still moving up. So we're absorbing the selling, but the footprint between the min and the max delta is telling you a different picture while it's going up.
You mean you're absorbing the buying?
You're absorbing right now it started showing you selling and we still moved up.
Okay.
I don't think you're going to absorb any more of this. It's time for, it's saying right now I got 2,300 at the top as far as delta's concerned. So now the sellers have literally got a bar in their direction. And they also have, the selling power in their direction as well. You took a big chunk out of there, 34,000 for delta. For volume. You doubled the volume up here. Somebody's trying to sell. I would feel like you ran out of buyers. You need to pull back. And I would expect that kind of action to maybe come back and be retested before you go anywhere. That's a lot of liquidity going on up there. I would expect that to be a magnet if nothing else. So I would still be looking but we're in this area, we're becoming very weak. We're losing sellers, we're losing buyers, and we're gaining sellers all at the same time. Big deltas coming in. So if nothing else, the best case scenario is maybe we travel sideways for a minute.
Dow cash is up 260. NASDAQ is up 167. We're still positive.
Well over 15K on the cumulative delta.
Right. But we're seeing
I know where your head is. At this time of day, you're either going to buy something that you really like or you're going to look at a movie.
One good trade a day keeps the bill man away. How you doing today, Mike B? How's your trading going along today, man? Where is which call must be on vacation, man?
Morgan?
Morgan K must be on vacation, yeah. He did say he had a 1-year-old, so I get it. Been there, done that. Been there, done that. Cool, man, cool.
That's right, you did have one broadcasted trade.
Yeah, I got a big delta on my 15R. Big delta, big delta.
Did it close, or you
Yeah,
just
that
have
was
it
the pivot.
flashing?
That was the pivot.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out one bar before that. I got a big delta, but the delta was only 5. Is that and this is a TDU, is that because of the difference of the last bar? The last bar was 2092, then we came down to +5. So yeah, I guess it would be a big delta drop wise, the difference wise, and then we went to a -2901, which is another big difference. So I'm gonna have to go back and read that just to verify that, just to verify it. Got a potential double top coming up here also. Potential. That's what a guy screamed at me one time. I was going to get laser eye surgery. I said, man, is this going to work? He said, potentially. So, yeah, anyway, potential double topping up here on the 15 and the 12. Wow.
Not a lot of times that I am afraid to take a trade that looks good to one side or the other, but I only want a long trade.
That's all I want to. Yeah. Yep.
And for me to have a long trade, I know I'm asking a lot, especially this time of day. I need to see a pullback somewhere toward moving averages, somewhere toward the center again. And I need to see my smaller time frames using the bands in some sort of way. That's about the only way right now, because that is like a cream trade for me. If I'm going to set it up, I may as well have what I want this late in the day. This is a very strong move.
Okay, guys, it's 11:30. Don't forget to hit the like button. We're going to call it the day. See you guys in a little bit. Peace out.
Peace.